Hi, I'm Paddycake, and this is my best friend, Brent. We've been besties for a while now, and one of the things we bonded over was our shared love of Madlibs. On Christmas a few years ago, Brent pitched the idea to me to create a show where we use AI art to accentuate the humor of Madlibs. 3 weeks later, we started filming, and we haven't stopped since. Through this project, we hope to share our weird humor and to highlight both the unexpected beauty and complete absurdity of AI-generated art. Welcome to MidJourney Madlibs. Hello, my darlings, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new, please come in. Make yourself at home. My name is Paddycake. Welcome to Paddycake Games and the next episode of MidJourney Madlibs. And with me, as always, is my best friend, my co-host, my partner in crime, Brent. How are you doing?
We're committing a crime? I'm great.
Yeah, you know, crimes against words, crimes against grammar. You guys know how this works. We send each other Madlibs. We send each other the answers to go into those Madlibs. We then take those sentences, we run them through MidJourney. We create art. We get together, we show them to each other, and we laugh. And that's the show. And we hope you like it. If you do like it, look down below the video. There's a button just for you. It's a thumbs up button. It just means you like the video. And if you're clicking on that, you might as well go right next to it and click the subscribe button. That'll certainly help out the channel. And if you want to be super thorough, you can ring the notification bell, and that lets you know when new videos get posted to the channel. You can also look into the description of the video, and there's a link to the Discord. Come and join the Discord. We would love to meet you. We have a wonderful little community of people that hang out there and laugh at the videos, and you can laugh with them. But it's Monday, and that means, Brent, you get to go first. What you got for us today?
Vivi! No, he's not French. So, I got a new Madlib. I got 3 new Madlibs. Patrick has 1, I have 2. But I got 3 new Madlibs last time I went to Buc-ee's. Or the previous time I went to Buc-ee's. And it's from this Madlib here, which is Keep the Faith Madlibs. And this harkens back to my church kid days, because I went on many a field trip. So this is the unwritten rules of youth group field trips. We did a regular school field trip last week. And now we're doing a youth group field trip. These are the unwritten rules, and they're in the style of Pablo Picasso. Pablo Picasso, born on October 25th, 1881 in Malaga, Spain, is arguably one of the most iconic and influential artists of the 20th century. He revolutionized art through his innovative use of form, abstraction, and technique, pushing boundaries and redefining what art could be. Picasso is best known for co-founding the Cubist movement, inventing collage, and for the variety of styles that marked his long career. From a young age, Picasso was recognized as a prodigy. He began studying art under his father, a painter and art professor, and attended prestigious art schools in Spain. Influenced by masters like El Greco, Velázquez, and Francisco Goya, his early works reflect traditional academic techniques. However, his exposure to modern art in Paris in the early 1900s, particularly the works of Henri Toulouse-Lautrec and Paul Cézanne, led him to start experimenting with new forms and expressions. His art can be defined into 5 periods. The Blue Period was from 1901 to 1904. After moving to Paris, Picasso entered his emotionally charged Blue Period, marked by somber tones of blue and themes of poverty and despair. One of the most famous works from this period is The Old Guitarist from 1903, which reflects the melancholic spirit of the time. His Rose Period was from 1904 to 1906. This period followed the Blue Period and is characterized by warmer tones, predominantly pinks and reds. The subjects shifted from beggars and misfits to circus performers and harlequins. Notable works include Family of Saltimbanques from 1905. His African art and primitivism period lasted from 1906 to 1909. Inspired by African tribal masks and Iberian sculpture, Picasso began simplifying and distorting the human form. One of the key works from this period is Les Demoiselles d'Avignon from 1907, which broke traditional perspectives and laid the groundwork for Cubism. His Cubism period lasted from 1909 to 1919. Alongside Georges Braque, Picasso developed Cubism, where objects were broken down into geometric shapes and viewed from multiple angles at once. Girl with a Mandolin from 1910 and Guernica, 1937,
are defining works of this period. Guernica, in particular, is a massive anti-war painting that powerfully depicts the horrors of the Spanish Civil War. Finally, Neoclassicism and Surrealism from 1919 to 1929. After World War I, Picasso turned toward classical themes and forms in his work, incorporating more traditional depictions of human figure as seen in Three Women at the Spring, 1921. He also began dabbling in surrealism, blending reality with fantasy, such as In the Dream, 1932. Picasso was famously known for his complex and often tumultuous relationships with women, many of whom were his muses. His first significant romantic relationship was with Fernande d'Olivier, who appeared in many of his early works. He later married Russian ballerina Olga Koklova in 1918, with whom he had his first son, Pablo Picasso. Their marriage ended in separation, though they never divorced. Olga appeared in many of Picasso's neoclassical works. After Olga, Picasso had a series of high-profile relationships with other women. Marie-Therese Walter, one of his most famous lovers, was the inspiration behind many of his sensual and curvaceous works in the 1930s. They had a daughter, Maya Picasso, together. His relationship with artist and photographer Dora Maar overlapped with Marie-Therese. Maar's tumultuous romance with Picasso inspired many of his works, including the powerful Weeping Woman from 1937. In the 1940s, Picasso began a relationship with painter Françoise Guillot, with whom he had two children, Claude Picasso and Paloma Picasso. Unlike many of Picasso's other lovers, Guillot left him, later writing a memoir about her time with the artist. Picasso married his second wife, Jacqueline Roch, in 1961. She remained with him until his death, becoming the subject of over 400 of his works. Picasso continued to create prolifically until his death on April 8, 1973, at the age of 91. His artistic legacy is vast, and over 20,000 works are attributed to him. His constant reinvention, experimentation, and breaking of conventions cemented his place as a key figure in modern art. One surprising fact about Picasso is that he was suspected of being involved in the theft of the Mona Lisa from the Louvre in 1911. Though innocent, he and his friend, poet Guillaume Apollinaire, were briefly questioned by police before the real culprit was found. Picasso's balanced creativity, personal life, and groundbreaking contributions to the art world make him one of the most fascinating art figures in art history. His work continues to captivate and inspire generations of artists and art lovers worldwide.
So he was quite a character.
To say the least.
Here are the rules of youth group field trips.
Okay. So do we
I
have
really
to all wear
like-
the same outfit? Because that's kind of boring.
Well, I mean, it's maybe they're a choir. They almost look like nuns wearing hoodies.
Kind of. And the building behind them looks very religious. It looks like a church.
It looks like somewhere in Spain, Spanish tile.
Well, that makes sense.
And-
You know.
Yeah. But I don't know. I like this. It's very pleasing. I think this is actually a zoom out of it, and I loved how the zoom out turned out. There are 17 vans, and one
Wow.
of them always smells like stinky fish sticks.
That looks like something out of H.P. Lovecraft. The big eyes, and he's holding the fish. He's a deep one. He's actually a deep one. He doesn't want you to know, but that's what he is.
This could also be from the Pearl.
Oh yes, it could be Kino, the fisherman. Yeah, he found the pearl
But-
inside. Well, he found it in a clam, not a fish. But
But I don't know. I mean, it's got some cool vibes to it. I like it. It's weird. You'll see more later. Arrive early to get on the non-fast van. So you have to get there early. So maybe you have to get there early because it leaves first, and so it takes.
yes, because it's the non-fast fan. It has to leave early.
So you got to get there really
at the
early
same
because
time.
it's gonna go like 2 hours for everyone else.
Yeah.
So
Is
this
that-
is the non-fast van.
Okay.
Apparently, you just climb on and he pushes it.
That would
I hope he's
explain
not
why
planning on going up those stairs.
it would explain why it's not fast. Because
Yeah, I'm beginning to think that Pablo Picasso had a lot of stripes in his artwork because I see it a lot.
yeah, I've noticed it so far, and yeah, I was gonna start watching.
But I like how
for it,
this shirt has kind of an ombre kind of. It goes in orange into red,
And weirdly, the awning kind of matches the stripes that the stairs create.
Yeah.
Which
It's
is also
very
really weird.
aesthetically pleasing picture. Let Dan sit in the front seat because he gets Prius sick.
No, stop, Prius sick. Leave me alone.
I love it. It's so weird. It's not the funniest picture. That picture actually goes into the honorable mentions. It made me laugh out loud so much. I hope it does the same for you.
Okay.
But I chose this one because of that whole talk to the hand thing, and it's very Picasso.
Yes, it
I
is.
mean that one side of a
stripes again.
face.
There's a
Yeah,
stripes
and more
again.
stripes. Yeah. So if he sits in the back, he'll throw up powder blue melted ice cream.
There are worse things to throw up, but
Yeah.
that's just
I love the-
bizarro.
I know, and I feel like, did Picasso have a kind of surrealist period? Because this looks very surrealist.
It is very surrealist. I was gonna say it's very reminiscent of like Dali or Hieronymus Bosch, but I don't remember ever seeing Picasso do anything like that. Maybe he did. I'm not aware of it.
Pastor Sir Elton John will blare worship songs by Dua Lipa. So come prepared with leg hair buds.
Oh, okay. I was really expecting the leg hair buds to give us something absolutely horrifying, but no, it's just Elton John.
I could not get
being
leg
fabulous.
hair to come up at all. I even added the little double colon of the number after it to see if it. No, leg hair was not going to beat out Dua Lipa and Elton John.
Yeah,
or Lady Gaga.
Well, this is like a weird mixture of Dua Lipa and Elton John.
Or Elton John and Hillary Clinton.
Oh my God, you're not lying.
Every time the driver turns the bus sleepily, smoosh the fire hydrants sitting by the windows.
Really weird that there's a fire hydrant inside the bus.
Well, there was one picture that had 5 fire hydrants all sitting together on the side. Yeah.
That's bizarre. But I guess it makes the bus safer in case there's a fire. There's fire hydrants everywhere.
Yeah.
They can just you just crack it open and flood the bus.
What are they connected to? Do they have a continuous connection to the ground?
Maybe so. It's weird. The bus wouldn't be able to go very far.
Yeah, right. Never look bored. Or adult leaders will ask about your relationship with Babe Ruth.
Why Babe Ruth? I know Babe Ruth because I gave you that word, but oh, they done him
Have
dirty.
you accepted Babe Ruth to be your Lord and Savior? It's like, what the hell?
They did him dirty.
So weird.
Babe Ruth is a big guy, but come on. That's a horrible angle.
But maybe this is like Pablo Picasso's take on him. Whether you're headed for a relaxing day at Torchy's Tacos, or to give chicken noodle soup to the hungry.
Oh, now that's very Picasso. I like that.
Yeah. Even though the glass or the cup looks more real than everything else. The style is very different. Like the cup looks very realistic, whereas everything else looks very weird. And even what's in the cup looks more like it's like some kind of noodly soup with some green onions or peas in it.
When actually it's orange juice with little bits of
avocado.
Green,
no.
Yeah, little bits of green avocado in it. We just think it's chicken noodle soup, but the soup is actually just really weird.
Or it's gazpacho. Remember to have ferocious fun and to love all of God's flies.
All of God's lies? Or flies?
Flies.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
All creatures great
we're
and small.
not that blasphemous. I mean, good Lord. I mean, we might convert you to Babe Ruth, but, we're not.
See, this makes me think of that old Monty Python skit. It might not have been a skit. It was a song, and I think it was on one of their albums. But it's all things. It's basically like a take on the whole thing that God makes all things, so all things are beautiful, right? But it talks about like all the horrible things.
It's a parody of All Things Bright and Beautiful.
Yes, all things bright and beautiful. Yes.
It has 4 lower limbs, and then it has 2 little arms sticking up. And it has that little kind of proboscis thing, and the eyes. I mean, the horn's different, but I don't know. I think this is freaking cool. I liked it a lot. So now it is definitely time for some honorable mentions. Let Dan sit in the front seat because he gets free as sick. Is it Christopher Walken? I think it's Christopher Walken.
Is he a ghost?
So it's either Hades from Hercules.
Oh, yes,
Disney.
Exactly. Or the Bride of Frankenstein.
Or Phyllis Diller. Or Christopher Walken. There's 17 vans. One of them always smells like stinky fish sticks. No idea why.
Yet again, very Lovecraftian. These are deep ones. Deep ones that have come and taken over your van.
Did you think that there would only be one good one?
Oh, no, of course not. Church vans. And, oh, God. It's like there's a fish on the top. It looks like it's part of the van, but it also looks real. That's really gross.
Yeah, like it looks like a very badly taxidermy fish. Like, this guy hadn't really seen a fish. Like, the nose is pointy. I mean, this is like, it's all wrong, but it's great. Maybe he was trying to make like a fish look like a shark and messed up. But I also love the horrendous paint job. Like, why would anybody pick that van anyway? This other one
and that's
also
true of all of them, really. All of them have terrible. Well, I mean, the one at the top right is like a cartoon, so it's it's kind of hard.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah, but the bottom right,
that bottom
bad
right
paint job, and they're just advertising. I mean, there's a big fish on the side of the van, so that's obviously not the one you want to get in.
Put it there.
This is the fish fan. This is the fish fan.
Let Dan sit in front because he gets Prius sick. When I saw this, I just started laughing and laughing and laughing and laughing, and I didn't even think it was that funny, but I could not stop laughing. And he's even drooling a little bit, which I didn't notice before.
So gross.
It sort of looks a little bit like Danny DeVito.
As the Joker? No, as the Penguin. As the Penguin. It's Danny DeVito as the Penguin.
So that's it for the unwritten rules of youth group field trips.
Pablo Picasso was a good choice. A lot of stuff we got was really reminiscent of Pablo Picasso's work, and the stuff that wasn't, it was stuff that we've never seen MidJourney put out before.
So I hope you had fun hanging out with old Pobs.
Good old Pablo. Uncle Pablo. We do love our Uncle Pablo. Well, that was a lot of fun, but before we get to my Mad Lib, I think I heard Lady Shablagoo pull up in her car. She's probably got a story for us. And now, Southern Fried Scary Tales with Lady Shablagoo.
Well, hello everyone. Here we are again. And I've got a story from a state I don't think we've talked about yet. Kentucky. This is about the Pope Lick Monster, or the Pope Lick Goat Man. But first we have to talk about the Pope Lick Trestle, because you can't have one without the other. The Pope Lick Trestle is a 772-foot-long railroad overpass that towers 90 feet above Pope Lick Creek and South Pope Lick Road, which runs along the creek. The bridge was finished in the late 1890s and was quite the marvel at the time. This is just to the southeast of Louisville, Kentucky. Stories of the Goat Man started somewhere between the 1960s and the 1980s. Some said it was an escaped circus freak, and others claimed it was a goat farmer who'd made a deal with the devil and sacrificed all of his goats. Then he started to turn into a goat-human hybrid. He's supposedly 8 feet tall with an emaciated, twisted body. He stands on 2 hoofed legs and has long claws on his hands. His face is both human and goat-like, with horns protruding from his forehead, and he has sharp, scary teeth. My. Rumors say the monster lures people onto the tracks with hypnosis, a sort of siren call, or by mimicking voices of people in distress. Once people are on the tracks, he either pushes them off, they lose their footing on the precarious tracks, or they are struck by or leap to avoid passing trains. Not many accounts of Goat Man sightings exist, but there are many very true instances of legend trippers or urban legend tourists being caught on the tracks and either falling to their deaths or being struck by those trains. It only takes a train locomotive 15 seconds to cross the entire 772-foot expanse of the trestle, which is way faster than any human could possibly run. And often, survivors that have been on the tracks said that they didn't see or hear the train until it was too late. So darlings, while going to track down a legendary monster does sound scary and fun, remember to keep your hunting to the safety of the ground below. Stay off the tracks. Don't try to climb the trestle from below, and don't dare your friends to do any of these things either, because sometimes reality is much scarier than legend. Just remember that tidbit for next week, and stay off the tracks. Bye, y'all.
Well, thank you for that, Lady Shablagoo. That was terrifying. Okay. But now that the terror is over, it's time to laugh again, and it's my turn to tell my Madlib. My Madlib tonight is called Cousins Club, and my art is in the style of our very first photographer, Larry Fink. Lawrence Bruce Fink was born in Brooklyn on March 11, 1941, to a Jewish family. His father was a lawyer, and his mother was an elder rights and anti-nuclear weapons activist. They moved to West Hempstead when he was 13. He and his sister Elizabeth Fink were raised in a very politically conscious household, and he described himself as a Marxist from Long Island. Fink attended Coe College in Cedar Rapids, Iowa briefly, followed by a similarly brief attendance at the New School of Social Research in New York City. It was here where Lisette Model, a well-known humanist photographer, took him under her wing and encouraged his work. Through his work in black and white photography, Fink sought to document the personal social lives of America's elite as well as the working class. This started in the 70s when he began photographing wealthy Manhattanites at locations like Studio 54 and private galas. Fink's best-known work is Social Graces, a series of photographs he produced in the 70s that depicted and contrasts wealthy socialites at fashionable clubs and events, alongside photographs of working-class people from rural Pennsylvania participating in events such as high school graduations. Social Graces was the subject of a solo exhibition at the Museum of Modern Art in 1979 and was published in book form in 1984. A New York Times reviewer described the series as exploring social class by comparing two radically divergent worlds, while accomplishing one of the things that straight photography does best, providing excruciatingly intimate glimpses of real people and their all too fallibly human lives. Fink's inspiring nightlife photography led to a commission from Vanity Fair to photograph their annual Oscars after-party, which he continued to do for almost a decade. He also provided photographs for the New York Times Magazine, The New Yorker, and GQ. He was also an educator, holding teaching positions at universities such as Yale, Parsons School of Design, Cooper Union, New York University, and Bard College. Fink was the recipient of numerous awards during his lifetime, including receiving a John Simon Guggenheim Fellowship twice, once in 1976 and again in 1979. In 1986, he was awarded a National Endowment for the Arts Individual Photography Fellowship, and in 1999, he won an Alfred Einstadt Award for Magazine Photography. In 2015, Fink received the ICP Infinity Award for Lifetime Fine Art Photography, and in 2017, he won the Lucy Award for Documentary Photography. Fink died from complications of kidney disease and Alzheimer's disease at his home on November 25, 2023, at the age of 82. But he left behind a legacy that speaks to a life well lived. Let's celebrate that with a Madlib in the style of our very first featured photographer, Larry Fink. I would like to point out, first of all, before we start the Madlib, just how many glasses of wine these three girls have.
Yeah, this one girl's triple fisted.
Right?
It also looks like a still shot from Gossip Girl to me.
Yeah. Well, Larry Fink was known, as you saw in the Artist Spotlight. His big thing was he took pictures of people at celebrations and parties. That was his thing. It's amazing how alike some family velociraptors can be. Hey, I know you. You're like me, and you're like me.
So you got no tail.
And you're wearing a frock.
Oh, goodness. That's so weird. So it looks very obviously like people in costumes, but it doesn't make it any less funny.
Doesn't make it any less funny. It's still hilarious. Prepare yourself. This next one is probably going to give you nightmares. When our ghoul club gets together every once in a pastel special effects makeup.
Oh my. Oh, crap.
I don't know what happened to poor girl at the bottom left, but oh my lord. Someone needs to go to the doctor. And then, of course, top right with the cleft lip.
And the eye and Cameron Diaz and sorry.
I'm reminded of how much one of my luxurious cousins, Miss Coco Peru, looks snoodily like me.
Well, yes.
She has the largest mouth
That is
in the
excellent.
whole world.
I mean, it obviously does not look like Coco Peru at all, but it looks like Coco Peru. It looks like a Coco Peru impersonator. I mean, it's obviously somebody who is trying to be her. So I feel like he knows, or MidJourney knows who that is.
Oh, probably
But
so.
they also put her into this medium of black and white film, except for the red lips.
Mm-hmm.
But the hair still looks ginger.
Mm-hmm. She even has nervous mannerisms that are furiously like mine.
Yeah, she can turn her head almost halfway around. And it's maybe that's why they all have those halo things on, because the legs are broken.
I don't know. I felt like they were mirrors at first, like they were seeing reflections in mirrors. But then the hair is like coming out of it, so they're like portals.
It's very, very bizarre and odd.
And the one on the far right looks like a doll. It doesn't even look like a real human. It looks like a doll head.
Or a mannequin.
Or mannequin, yeah, exactly. Maybe they're mannequins. In fact, it's kind of tomato red how clumsily similar we are. That's a big tomato. That is a really big tomato.
This man's looks like he's outside of the room.
It looks like a ghost. It looks like they captured a picture of a ghost.
I mean, I feel like this is forced perspective, though. Like, you're taking a picture from right behind this tomato.
Well, then it would have to be on a very small table with very small chairs as well.
Even though he's this black and white artist, it makes this very tomato red tomato.
Yeah.
And then this table gets to have some of the color, but it's a muted brown. And then you get to like the windows or whatever, and there's this hint of brownness.
I found something else that MidJourney does not know how to render. We're like two peas in a scorpion.
Like one looks very crab-like, the other one not so much.
I mean, it's like the tail is a claw, which doesn't make sense.
It's almost got like a snake-like head.
Right? And then the other one just looks like a crawfish, you know, or
the one on
or a
top,
lobster.
The
one on
looks
top
very crab-like.
Yeah.
To me.
And then, of course, those are not peas. Those are obviously
red
lemons.
eyes.
Those are lemons,
Ooh.
not peas.
Yeah.
So, but I tried this prop multiple times. MidJourney does not know what scorpions look like. She likes to prance in class and do her home eyeball in the middle of the mime, just like I do.
Okay. So weird. So weird. It's like the only part of her that it's got the mime paint on is the eyeball.
Is the eyes, yes. And they're weird eyes. They're like cat eyes.
Yeah.
And then
Maybe she's got
if you look
contacts.
at the girls in the back, they all have things on their eyes too.
Oh, it's mime.
Yeah, it's a mime school.
They're all doing mime.
And when it comes to giggling, her taste in boys is always like mine. So are they giggling or are they screaming?
Or guffawing. I mean, I don't know. I love this, and I love that it seemed to capture the period. Like maybe this is some like Midwestern ritual. Like you go out and if you like a boy, you go out and laugh together, and if you really can enjoy laughing together, then you can like marry him.
That's a nice thought. Tall, or taste in boys, there's tall, dark, and hirsute with a great sense of jogger.
Who? That's some hair.
That's a lot of hair.
And I don't know
too
if
much
he's been
hair.
jogging recently.
No. If he has, it's not working. He looks homeless.
A little bit. But, I mean, everybody looks a little homeless in black and white in an alley when you don't brush your hair and your clothes are falling off.
And your midriff is hanging out. I hope cousin Coco and I will be close piglets for the rest of our bananas and pajamas.
That's so weird. Oh, that's so weird. And I love how the little piglet hand doesn't look like it's a human hand. It looks like a Muppet hand.
Yes, it's like a mixture of a human hand and a piglet hand because it's got the hair on it. But
yeah,
it's also, I mean, this although it's very bizarre and kind of weird and creepy, it's also kind of sweet and cute.
Yeah,
so
it looks like something from the Twilight Zone. Like there's this whole episode where a couple has twins and one of them looks like a pig, and like the whole entire episode, you never know what's wrong with the other twin. They just talk about it. Oh my god! Ah. And then at the very end, you hear like this like the little music that plays on the mobile, and you look down and there's the two of them sleeping in the baby bed, and then it closes out, and you're like,
oh, that's what was wrong. That is my Madlib. Are you ready for honorable mentions?
well, I mean, because sometimes it's not the best picture that makes the thing. It's the one that fits the most.
I've got funny stuff.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
It's amazing how alike some family velociraptors can be. This image brought to you by Land of the Lost.
It
like
is
it's
so funny.
straight out of Land
It
of the
looks
Lost.
like Jurassic Park, but then somebody came along and parodied. Maybe it's the robot chicken version of
it's the
the
giant
Velociraptors.
eyes. It's the giant eyes that make it silly. Here we go with boobies.
Is this Coco?
Yes, this is Miss Coco Peru, and she looks snoodily like me, because I apparently bare my breasts all the time as well.
My very muscly breasts. I mean,
I don't know what it is about MidJourney suddenly giving us boobies everywhere, but that's
So
something that's
many
been happening
boobies.
since we started filming the second half of this season. We've just been getting boobies.
But I
upon
noticed it
boobies
even
upon
during the
boobies.
break when I was making like art, and even some of my Lady Shablagoo art. And it's like, why am I getting so many boobies? I mean, I did do the one story where I had to get a naked guy, and I was very surprised that I was able to actually get a guy who looked like he was naked without it like taking him out. But it was very artful. But this, wow. I think it would have been better, like as a more provocative, if it was just a man's chest, because it's supposed to be a drag queen.
Yes, I
and
agree.
if it was just this very muscular man's chest, would have been.
I
Obviously,
agree.
you wouldn't have needed to cover it, and it would have given it this like, oh wow.
All right, here's the next Coco Peru.
That's like a caricature. I like that. Even though obviously it's definitely not photography, it's still
It's
it
funny.
matches his style.
And then I got one more Coco Peru.
Oh my god. This is like 30 years from now, I guess.
She likes to prance in class and do her home eyeball in the middle of the mime, just like I do.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I love that. It's getting a pretty good prance there.
This makes me think of like zombie movies from the 50s. Like this is the makeup they would do on zombies in early 50s B movies.
But it also looks very mime, so it's like Zomba mime. Like the mimes. Oh gosh.
So this is tall, dark, and hirsute with a great sense of jogger. Remember I told you it gave me 2 different types of images. It gave me big guys with way too much hair that look homeless, and it gave me stuff like this.
He reminds me of an actor, but and just can't quite place it. I'll think of it later.
Close piglets for the rest of our bananas and pajamas.
I love it that they're just full-on grown-up pigs now, but they still, pretend like it's slumber party time.
Right? But they also have human feet and human hands and pig heads.
But they still kind of have this pig-esque-ness about them.
Well,
like the feet, especially.
Yeah,
like
only 4 toes.
They're smaller and, yeah, I don't know, something weird.
That is the end of my Madlib for today.
Yeah, so creepy.
Well, that is going to do it for tonight's episode of MidJourney Madlibs. Thank you guys for coming by and watching our silly little show. Brent, thank you for hosting our silly little show with me.
It's always a blast.
I know. Well, we're going to get out of here. We'll see you guys on Thursday. Make sure you click on like and subscribe before you leave. We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Like and subscribe.
The algorithm demands it.